Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast edition from Peak Blockchain. Today, we'll be discussing on VC investment in crypto and blockchain startups. Oh, that is something that everybody's excited to know about. So, in 2021, we have really seen that how cryptos have gained new heights with Bitcoin touching over 60K and attracting a lot of investors in this space. And we have also seen NFTs going at a boom period in this era and investors eyeing on the companies that have potential for higher growth. So I'm sure all of you would be interested to know more about this topic. So today we have invited Parimal Priyadarshi, VP Client Engagement NU10, which is a leading Web3 service provider. It has offices in India, Estonia, and New York. And Parimal has recently been appointed as Indian ambassador on Bitcoin Association for BSV. So, Parimal, many congratulations for this new role. And we really hope that you do very well here, considering that you are a very experienced professional and have been giving your lot of potential into blockchain space.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Surabhi. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate that. And yes, BSV has given me this opportunity. So, of course, we'll see how the things go on. But yeah, I'm pretty optimistic uh, to work whatever responsibility BSV has given me to and work in a right direction. Yep. And thank
Right.
you again.
Great. So I'm sure that BSV is going to get good visibility in the Indian market with you on the board.
Thank you. Yes, and even on that note, next month we are also inaugurating the first Citadel of BSV in Bangalore, and that will be the third Citadel globally after South Florida, Berlin. The next one is in Bangalore, where we will be inviting all the entrepreneurs. We'll be taking a co-working space. We'll giving them the mentorship, the internship, and our main target is toward the research and patent side. So yes, and since it's a pretty new blockchain in terms of awareness, it's not pretty new. It's coming from 2008 in a way. From its origin is from the white paper that Satoshi Nakamoto had written. But yeah,
I guess
people are
that's
not.
the original version of
Yes,
the Bitcoin.
yes, yeah. Bitcoin Satoshi vision, correct. Yeah, you're bang on. So yes, people are not aware about that. Like lots of misconception is on BSC. Like people say that, hey, we switched to Ethereum just because of Bitcoin, but they do not understand BTC is not the real Bitcoin because the kind of protocol changes they have made with the SegWit and again with the Lightning Network. And people had always the excuse that, okay, you cannot build apps on top of the Bitcoin, but that is not correct. Even smart contracts, you can write your own smart contracts. Bitcoin is a Turing complete language in a way, if I will go technically. Yes, you can write your own smart contracts. You can do whatever you are doing with other blockchain. But again, we might keep this BSA discussion for some other podcast if we have in future. Thank you.
Sure, sure, sure. Definitely looking for more engaging discussions with you in future as well. Great. So moving on from here. So before we, kind of dive into our podcast topic, first I would really like our viewers to know more about you. What kind of work are you into, and how you basically moved into this blockchain crypto space? As this is quite new, so most of us are, working here since many years because the space is itself new. So would be great if you could share your experiences.
Yes, as you did say, right now I'm working as a VP client engagement for Newton. And yes, I also take care of their product division there. My story with blockchain dates long back, and it's an interesting story that how and where did I land into this blockchain space. So I come from a traditional aerospace background. I used to work with aerospace R&D firms, and then I did few of my own ventures in food tech and tech industry, and then I started exploring this blockchain. So my journey with blockchain started way back, you can say, in 2012 or something, when it was fairly new. And like everyone, even I was like, what is this Bitcoin? The things that are happening around. And then one of my family members, he wanted to buy something, not through traditional e-commerce channel, but through some other channels. Like now you can buy on Instagram, you can buy through YouTube's, you can buy through Facebook, even like normal people are, because of this digital transformation, people are having their own websites. But if you do not know that what's their user base, how many customers they have sold previously, you always, the fear is always there. Okay, what if I'm buying from a wrong place? So I will give an example. If you're buying an iPhone from Amazon, and if you receive a brick, the moment you tell them, hey, I received a brick, they will refund you the money, unless otherwise you're a serial offender, because they also do their own fraud analytics and everything in the background. So one of my family members, he had to buy a product. The product was in Chennai. He was staying in Pune. And that was cost was around 25,000. And the guy was like, you first send me the money, I will send you the product. And that this person was like, what if I don't receive anything and you just run away with my money? So that deal never happened. And then I thought, hey, this whole payment system is very broken because trust, and we all know that we are a low trust society. And when it comes to money, nowadays people don't trust their own family members even. So trusting a complete stranger, it was like it's like asking for too much. So that deal never happened. And then I thought to build a personal escrow account, because generally escrow accounts are only for businesses and all. And that's where I delved and I started deep diving into the blockchain space. And this story is, I'm saying, around 5 to 6 years back. So yeah, technically, I will say I got introduced to blockchain like 5 to 6 years back. But like everyone, the first time I heard about blockchain was like way back, around 10 years back. Yes.
Great. Great. So that's quite interesting to know. And if I may ask, any interesting projects that NUT, NU10 is into in this space? So I know that it is doing different things there, and it has also built an exchange in India. So there's a lot of good work that has come from the company. So I would like you to add on.
Yes, you are true that we built the India is one of the largest exchange with a user base of more than 15 million users. So Newton is, as a philosophy, we are the Web3 first company, and I also say that we are a BaaS company, but not blockchain as a service, but blockchain as a solution.
Okay.
And we have worked across multiple L1s and L2s, forking the chains. And yes, we developed strategy games on blockchain. We have even our own crypto payment product called NivaPay, and it is doing close to like $200 million in transactions yearly. And we are hoping to close like by next year around, we are planning to touch it to the $1 billion. And generally we cater gaming and iGaming industries for the crypto payments. Other than that, since you asked any interesting projects, so yes, right now we are building a very interesting project called player performance tokenization. So yes, it's just like middle between the betting and your a stock market kind of thing. So it's a middle game. And yes, and right now we are starting with cricket, and we are planning to launch it. We are building it for someone, and we are planning to launch it around the IPL time next year. But yes, later on we are going to expand it to the football, baseball, basketball, tennis, and all those games. So yeah, thank you. This is what, and it's very pretty interesting that, yeah, as per if a player performs or something, you can just like a token, you can just trade them. And we are also taking care of the jurisdiction. So in few jurisdictions, if cryptos are not allowed, it will be traded as a Web2 token. And in those jurisdictions where crypto is allowed to trade, it will be traded as a Web3 token. So it's quite interesting. Let's see how does the whole product come up in couple of months.
Great, great. I guess gaming is one area that is constantly, gaining attention, gaining investment. A lot of solutions are being designed in terms of gaming.
True, Surabhi. I'm
Right,
completely with you on that.
right. Great. So now let's move on to our topic of discussion. So just before we start, I would just like you to add on the key message that you would have on this topic for our audience.
Uh, regarding the crypto funding, VC fund and all, you want me
Yeah,
to
yeah.
keep building? That's the only message I will be having. And build an all-weather product. That even if it's don't get bothered with the 50 degrees Celsius heat or the sub-zero temperature chill or the rain like a crazy. Just build an all-weather product. Yeah, and keep building.
Great, great.
There is lots of
So,
hope.
great, great. So, all the young startups here watching our podcast. So, I'll start on this note. So, keep building, keep doing more in this space. And on this note, further, Parimal, I would like to ask you, so how is basically this crypto VC investing different from our traditional investing? Are they same? Are they different? So, I would like to know, how is it like?
Okay, so before we start, I just want to make it clear that I don't come from a traditional VC background or something. So, but yeah, I closely follow it. So my answers will be in that perspective. So
Sure.
I do not represent any VC firm or any venture or something. Yeah. So the question that you did ask, Surabhi, of course, it's like a traditional practice only. All the screening processes and all, it just works in a traditional way where all these VC funds happen. There is a few things that I want to mention that in Web3 world, like again, it's equity-based funding. Then again, few VC, they are more interested toward their tokens or something. So yeah, it's a mix and match kind of things. But yeah, it's traditional. And one very good thing that I found in Web3 space regarding the VC perspective, they don't care that you're from a Stanford grad or you're from IITs or something. They do not get at all bothered that, okay, what background you're coming with. They just believe in the merit of the person. So that's a very good thing that is happening. Even on other startup side also, I'm seeing recently it started happening, but on Web3 side, definitely no one gets bothered that, oh, hey, are you a grad of IT or MIT or Berkeley or Stanford or not? Not at all. Uh, if you ask me about the investment side or something on the Web3 space, I will give you a fine example. Like even at the pre-seed level, Surabhi, they are raising close to $3 million, and that's a very good number. Even Forbes had published an article last year that even at seed level, you're from $1.5 million in 2020 to cross to 3.5 million, close to $3.5 million last year. So almost double at a seed level. So yeah, that's a very good number. And that's why I'm saying it's be hopeful, lots of scope there.
Great, great. And is it really true that, there are many startups who really don't make it after the second round of funding?
Again, I will differ here in a way, or I will say that Surabhi, it's a pretty new technology. It's not a pretty new technology again. Blockchain was invented way back in 90s in Bell Labs. But again, everyone started knowing this since last few years. So it will take its own course to get matured. So you won't find lots of company in this space right now. And yes, funding like startups and all, they are there. But sometimes I also joke in this that there are more founders than builders in this space. So of course, it's a very scattered space. So that's why you might see. But on the brighter side, if you will see, Surabhi, I will give you an example of what happened this year only. Your Republic Trade, they raised close to $1.2 billion. Your Circle, they raised around $400 million. Your Consensus, at a valuation of $7.2 billion, they raised close to $450 million. So it's not like that uh, startups are not going to multiple stages. It's fairly new industry. So of course, it will take time where you will see lots of startups reaching to Series E level or F or something beyond more. And on F side, since what happened with BlockFi again, it's a traditional example that the valuation also goes down like in Flash. So BlockFi is a classic example. Last year, they were planning to sell themselves at a $9 billion valuation, and now they are nowhere. They are wiped out themselves. So yes, it's a learning space for VCs also, and they are becoming more and more clever. Initially, the basics of funding was FOMO, but I will say that it crossed that stage of FOMO stage. And yes, so in coming years, you will see many more startups reaching to Series E level funding. Yeah.
Great. So that means they would be purely in expansion stages and, they'll be doing much in this area.
Yes, very much.
Great. So thank you so much for sharing few examples here of some of the companies who have been doing quite high amount of raising. And it's quite insightful to know you mentioned about Consensus also and couple of more companies here. So I would also like to ask that in 2021, as I mentioned earlier also, that we saw a boom. So how this boom basically, came to the funding part of what was the amount that was invested from the venture capitalist. So I think it was over 20 billion. You can put some more light here that what kind of investments poured in and what
Yes,
are the reasons of this, increase in sudden spike.
yes. 21 was like a silver lining, or I will say the golden year for crypto industry and as a overall Web3 space. So 21, it almost close to $33 billion funding came last year. And if we compare it to 22, like it was like $5.5 billion. Again, 29, close to $4 billion. So yeah, $33 billion. It's a great number, and everyone was riding on the wave. Like again, if you're no one wants to sit idle at the shore side and just enjoy the wave. They just want to ride the wave, and that's what happened. BTC was trading at $69,000 at its peak. So everyone thought, hey, what is happening with this industry? Let's pour more money into that. And that was the all the major celebrities started endorsing the crypto exchanges during the October, from Amitabh Bachchan. In Indian perspective, I say from Amitabh Bachchan to Ranveer Singh to your Ayushmann Khurrana. Everyone was like, hey, come on, let's endorse. Once again, but the government clampdown started. I won't say the clampdown this year. The cleaning drive once started. Again, the funding has seen the little bit of decline. But yeah, the major reason behind all this boom was like your BTC peaking at $69,000. And again, I will give you a more example of this. This year, if I will give you the funding starts of this year, it's almost like 10, close to $10 billion in quarter one, $6.6 billion in quarter two. And unfortunately, this quarter we still have to it still has to become the unicorn in the funding space. So we are just sitting at close to like $720 million. Only funding has been closed. So yes, very, very, very disappointing figure for this quarter. But again, it also happened with this dot-com era, right? When almost all internet businesses were wiped out in October 2002. You must be remembering that. Even Nasdaq Composite Index, that it had lost almost 75% of its value from its peak. But this cleaning drive, I will say, this was very much needed. And yep, I'm bullish about more about the underlying tech, that is blockchain, and people will, I think, will move towards that side. Yeah.
Okay. And now the focus is also beyond the Bitcoin, right? So people have started realizing the true potential and the true use cases of blockchain itself. So it's expanding beyond the Bitcoin mindset. So
Yes.
on this, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So on
Yep.
this
Yep.
note, I would also like to ask you, which are the sectors which are attracting the investment?
Okay. Interesting question, Surabhi. So once all the investment were coming on top of that $2 trillion of market capitalization, And as you are aware, that $1.3 trillion in quarter two, almost 60% has been wiped out, have been wiped out from the market. People started realizing, okay, hey, this crypto boom is not the actual blockchain. People, that's what they misunderstand. So all the fundings that were coming to your crypto side, crypto exchanges, more towards the DeFi side, it started slowly moving more towards your utility side. I will say on that sector, like your infrastructure. Again, another sector that has seen a good amount of funding is the security side. Then another thing that is gaming. On the security side, I will say interoperability, people start saying that word. But most of the hacks that happened because of that crypto bridges that is in the market. And so that's why I say composability is the future, not the interoperability in the blockchain space. A classic example is your 656, close to $600 million hack of XC Infinity. What happened after that? They raised another $150 million just to compensate the victims, whoever had got hacked. So yes, security is one area that I'm very bullish. Another is infrastructure side. Recently, Mistin Labs, your Sui, layer one blockchain developer, they raised $300 million at a valuation of $2 billion. So if infrastructure, Fire became the recent blockchain. Polygon, see what happened with the $450 million that Sequoia invested in there. They are riding on that wave. So infrastructure, security, and gaming. These are the sectors I personally believe I'm very bullish. It also had started on the NFT side, but now NFT is coming to the realization part that, okay, NFT is way beyond more than the monkeys and the apes. And 99% you must have been aware that an OpenSea volumes have gone down like 99%. Few months back, 68% market share in NFT was for the collectibles, only 4 to 5% on the utility side. But now the NFT is seeing the other side of it, gaming and the utility. These are two sectors that are really driving the NFT. And I do believe that NFT is going to stay into the market, and NFT will be another things to watch out for sure.
Sure. I think that's the common sentiment with people here that NFTs are surely going to continue. And it's
True.
quite insightful to know about the other sectors that are going to gain more momentum and more attraction of investors. Great. And also, we would like to ask you to name few big investment players who have been consistently investing in this area, in this side of the market.
So investment, again, investment is a very funny word in Web3 space, Surabhi. If someone has bought even $100 worth of cryptocurrency, they become an investor in Web3 space. You will go to their LinkedIn profile and they are angel investors. So lots of those players, I won't count them. That was just a joke. But few of the players that is really consistent in this, I will say first name that comes to my mind is the Sam Bankman-Fried. And he was the real Santa Claus for the crypto industry for this year and last year, FTX Ventures and their Alameda Research. They are a big player. Even Andreessen Horowitz, always they are the Blackstone for the technology. And even they raised like close to $4.5 billion fund only dedicated to crypto. Another one is the Paradigm. Last year, they closed around $2.5 billion they just kept for crypto industry. Coinbase Ventures, Binance Labs, they poured a $500 million to fund. Even your digital, I'm just forgetting the name of that. Sorry, that's my bad. Sequoia Capital, again, after this Polygon funding, they were like, hey, this is one sector that why I am missing. And they are recently back into the game. So yeah, these are the few players. Yeah, Digital Currency Group, sorry, DCG. DCG is one. They invested in close to 100 blockchain companies till now. Blockchain Capital, another player, they invested in around 130, close to 130 companies in this sector. And they have around $1.3 billion assets under management. And that's an impressive figure. So, yep, Dragonfly Capital, then Animoca Brands for the gaming. These are the few names that is coming to my mind.
Okay. And what are basically the key factors that are considered by them before, targeting a startup where they want to invest in? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of due diligence and there's going to be a lot of scanning in terms of, what kind of growth potential they are going to have through such investment. So,
Yes, as I did say, initial all the investments were for because of the FOMO, but now they are becoming more and more. They do their own due diligence and all, and now the whole concept of business model, the revenue and all. Generally, in startup industry, profitability or profit was a sin word to use, but the macroeconomic condition, the global inflation, these factors now bringing lots of value, I will say, adding lots of value to this whole crypto industry and to crypto industry as well. And VCs now, they are becoming more and more clever and they are going more towards the technology side now. That's what I did say. The underlying tech, that is getting more value. And the credit that it should have received, that is happening. So I'm glad that people are thinking beyond that NFT or crypto is equivalent to blockchain technology. That whole dynamics is changing now.
okay. Okay. So we are going to witness few changes here, right?
Yes, definitely you will see. Look, Surabhi, I will give you an example in Indian context. Uh, India exports around 300 billion, close to $300 billion worth of software. Global blockchain market size in 2021 was close to $5 billion. So you see the difference, $5 billion to $300 billion. But again, in coming 7 years, I was just reading a report by PwC. Blockchain is going to add like $1.76 trillion to the global
Yes.
GDP, and that's a very impressive number. If I come to just on the Indian side, another 7 years, close to $40 billion will just get added on the supply chain side. Supply chain is one area that is highly broken. Close to $15 billion towards the payment side. So supply chain, the food industry, close to 600 million people, as per UN research, Surabhi, they get ill because of contaminated food. 400,000 people just die because of having that. Because there is no track, the source that, okay, from farm to the fork that we do say. There's nothing, there is no credibility in this industry. $110 billion losses in economy, US only, these just because of this fake products or something. 2 years back, organic food scam had happened in US where close to $146 million worth of scam had happened. One person was just selling the grains certified organic, but 95 to 98%, it was not at all organic. But there is no way that you can trust. If someone has said that, okay, it's organic, people just buy it. And that too, they buy it on premium price. Once blockchain, they start utilizing the blockchain, this whole supply chain industry will see, and especially the food industry, that's I'm very bullish that will see a lot of change in the coming days. Yes.
Great. Thank you so much for correlating everything with the economy and different problems that we are witnessing currently. And blockchain can, help in addressing many of these problems.
True. At least I'm very bullish. Yes.
Okay. So, as you have already thrown some light on how the numbers look like in 2022 Q1 and Q2. So, what is your take on the last 6 months of this year in terms of investments pouring in? We already see Bitcoin is hovering near 20K levels. It's going up, it's going down. So, what is your take on the investment side?
Quarter two was not bad, Surabhi, close to $6.6 billion. That's still a healthy number. But Q3, as I did say, till now, till yesterday, I think, if I'm not wrong, around $719.7 million, close to. That's a very disappointing figure. And there are lots of factors because of that. A crypto winter is, of course, one of that. Then again, the Dokon incident that happened, that Luna guy. Now he's playing a catch me if you can game with the authorities. Then 3AC, what happened with 3AC? What happened with the Celsius? People started losing the trust. I always say the currency of Web3 is not cryptocurrency. The currency of Web3 is trust. And once people started losing that trust, that's what it didn't get reflected that much in Q2, but in Q3, that number suggests. But again, as I did say, I will say it's more like a cleaning drive. And the real coefficient of restitution will come into the play. And it's like a cycle. Sometimes you will see like a heavy spending and all, and sometimes again it comes to your lower consumer activity and all. That's what happening. But what I am predicting, I'm not again above Avanga or something, but what I do see that now it will take a correct path. I won't say it's a course correction. It was more like cleaning drive. And again, Q4, I'm very hopeful that numbers will be again. It won't be that disappointing for sure. But next year onwards, you will see an entirely new picture. And that's what Stuart Haber and Scott Stonetta that had envisioned in Bell Labs when he had written that paper of immutability of digital records. I think that will come into the picture pretty much.
Okay, great. So, so when such kind of investments come from VC, what typically happens is the overall blockchain is gaining popularity in the eyes of people, and the overall sector is growing, right? And
Yes.
uh, from the decent reports, as you mentioned, PwC and some other reports, the focus that they have made is quite encouraging. So I want to know from your side that what are the possible trends and drivers in the coming 1 year that are really boost more investment pouring into the sector. So what are the possible trends and drivers in that direction?
Uh, okay, Surabhi. As payment is close to my heart, so I'm pretty sure this alternative payment method will be a game changer in the coming year or something. As you're aware that I will take an example of cross-border payments. So the market is like $700 billion. It exchanges the borders every year globally. Do you know how much fee they pay on top of that? Close to $4 billion. That is almost 5%.
That's a
That's a
huge
ve-
amount.
that's a huge amount. So the system is broken. It's highly inefficient. Even traditional payment methods, I always call them boring, sluggish, and even not cost effective. In US alone, people are paying on top of your credit card and debit card in overdraft fee more than $15 billion annually. That's a huge number. Again, US, they say one of the superpowers. Do you know how many people are unbanked or underbanked in US? 24% population in US is. I'm not saying this as per their treasury reports. These are written in the bold letters in their own treasury reports. So yes, again, CBDC is one thing that, again, right now, close to 110 countries are experimenting with CBDC. CBDC is one area where lots of countries, because they want the whole control kind of things. I always say they don't want to miss out. Right now, they are saying, hey, everyone is transferring crypto from here to there, and I don't have any say there. It will become more transparent, the whole payment. And blockchain, since blockchain is known for bringing efficiency and the cost effectiveness to the table. So I'm seeing alternative payment methods is one area that will see a huge rise in coming days. And as I always say, Surabhi, if the wind of change blows, few people build walls and few people will wind turbines. So we have to decide on which side we want to end up.
Right, definitely. So that's a good one. Great. So, so the next question is coming from different startups that would be really excited to know. And it is one curious question that people in the industry want to know. And it's about unicorns. So we would like to know that how many unicorns are there in this industry?
Okay, I'm not a big fan of the word unicorn, but if you ask me the number, around 79 unicorns are at present in the Web3 space. And do you know how many companies are there? Close to 16,000. So 1 in 200 is like that is the ratio for the unicorn. And this year we just saw one unicorn in quarter 1. But again, you must be saying that, hey, these numbers are not that encouraging. But I will disagree. Even if you see the whole global unicorn things, it's plummeting. The unicorns, the whole scenario is plummeting. Last year, close to 537 unicorns were there. This year in quarter 1, if I'm not wrong, 125, quarter 2, 87, quarter 3, so far 18, projected number is around 27. That is close to 240 unicorns. So the ratio is almost half. So yeah, unicorn, the global unicorn scenario is plummeting. And as I did say, I'm not a big fan of unicorn. And since you asked lots of startups and all, they will be watching. I always tell them, be a cockroach, don't be a unicorn. And cockroaches are known to survive a nuclear holocaust. So why not be a cockroach rather than be a unicorn?
Great. So I would further like you to, little bit, we would like to know more from this. So what is your key advice for startups then? If not unicorns, that, what should be their real strategy like?
Don't go for the don't go after money, or don't go after the valuation game or something. The money will always follow. Okay, if you just start thinking from the first order principle, if you have done something great, money is just a byproduct. That's what I believe. So I always say, only thing that I say, keep building, keep building, keep building. Yeah.
Great. So I guess that was your earlier highlight message also, that we should keep building in this space and ultimately we are going to gain recognition, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, that is true.
Great, great. So, Parimal, that was pretty much the last question from our side. So, before we conclude this, I would like to know any parting thoughts or maybe some thoughts of wisdom that our audience could take on.
Okay. So people might be disappointing. Again, I'm saying with this Q3 numbers of $720 million. But I will just give a few examples here. And since I did say about the coefficient of restitution, the whole game is that Uniswap, I will just give you examples. Uniswap, that was, I think, founded in November 2018, if I'm not wrong. And that was the greatest crypto collapse in the history. Around $700 billion was wiped out of the market. Binance was founded in 2017. BTC was close to like down by 40%, Ethereum 67% of their high. OpenSea, again in 2017, last 2017. And at that time, rumors were going on that Korea and Japan are banning the cryptos. And BTC had collapsed again, around 40%. And then OpenSea was born. Coinbase, the example, when Coinbase was introduced just after a few months of the founding of Coinbase, a great Ponzi scam had happened in the crypto industry. Around 700,000 Bitcoins were wiped out. It was taken away by promising high return. So that's what I say. Sometimes greatest product come out not from the bull market, it come out of the bear market. And real builders should keep building an all-weather product. And if one advice is I have to give, I always say that everyone is having two lives, right? And the second one starts the moment they realize they just have one. So yeah, that's it.
Wow. So that's a great one, and that puts end to our podcast. So thank you so much, Parimal, for your time today. And I would really thank you once again for being so generous, sharing so many numbers. And I'm sure our audience would take some time to absorb and incorporate their strategy accordingly. So it was great having you here.
Thank you. Thank you again, Surabhi, for inviting me. Peak Blockchain is doing an amazing thing through these podcasts. So again, I will say thank you and apologies on the bombardment of numbers. I'm trying to cut it down, but yeah, I do have this bad habit of throwing numbers. Yeah,
No,
but
no,
I will work on that.
it's really great, and we are really thankful for that.
Yes,
Great,
thank you. Thank you so much for having me again, Surabhi.
great. Looking forward to more engaging discussions with you in future as well. So
Likewise.
thank Great. So thank you, audience. We'll see you again. Bye bye.